All right, we're live. I'm Peter Brusso for 101 Small Business Mastermind, and with me is our general cadre of Dick Bentley. Say good morning, Dick.
Good morning, Dick.
And Mark Giardino. Say good morning, Mark.
Morning, everybody. How are you?
Good, good. And Frank Sharinka.
Yes,
Frank?
Good morning, Dick.
Good. Yes, good morning, Dick.
Good morning.
All right, so we're going to kick off. We don't have a guest today, which it can still be quite fun and exciting what goes on here. I wanted to talk again. We have this kind of field experiment going on Dick's handbill with his CD-ROM business card. We call the handbill a surfboard for the disc. So if you hear us refer to it as a surfboard, that's what we're talking about. So, Dick, what happened?
Well, I've attended 3 mixers since I got those from you and working with you to develop them, and the results, the difference in there's you hand out a regular business card, just and then for a while I was handing out the CD-ROM business card, and then I handed out about 30 of the surfboard CD-ROM on them. And the difference between the 3 options is startling. I didn't have one person who just looked at it and put it in their pocket or didn't comment. Almost every person I handed it to, I had a conversation about the, the surfboard and the ROM. And in the past, that you go to these things and you talk to people in the business card, they look at it, so that's nice, they put it in their pocket, and that's the end of the discussion, and probably the end of the business card. When I did the CD-ROM, it evoked some conversations and a lot of interest. But when I put the surfboard on with the CD-ROM, it changed the dynamics totally. People would look at it, they'd ask me questions about the technology. Is it really an active CD-ROM and all? And on the surfboard, I have some things about Legal Shield, some questions that you should ask yourself to determine if you would have a need for Legal Shield. And people would start going down that, asking me questions. To go on forever about this, I have booked 3 appointments on the using these things out of the I guess about 28 I've given out. So you can see that it's over 10% of the people I hand them to have agreed to meet with me, and that's at least as far as my success of attending these things. It has never worked that way, where I got that kind of interest and that kind of a commitment to meet with people. Kind of on the spot. I've always had to call them back, or they'd say, send them information and stuff. I hand them all the information. They have everything they need to see interest. And so I would say that the results rather have been remarkably well, and I'm very pleased with these surfboards.
Have you had anybody push back on it at all? Like, I don't want it?
No, not really. It was interesting. I was attended one night, and I was sitting at a table talking to a couple of gentlemen, and I gave them the surfboard business card, and this one guy just put it down in front of him. He seemed kind of blasé about it, didn't comment on it and everything. So he left it in front of him. We're sitting there talking, not about business or anything, just social chatting. And after about 5 minutes, he picks it up. He's looking at it, and he puts it back down, and then we talk some more again, and he picks up again. He says, "So what's Legal Shield?" And so I go kind of give him my 60-second elevator pitch. He puts it down, and then a couple minutes later, he picks up. "So is this a real CD?" I said, "Yeah, it's about 18 minutes of video on it." He said, "I'll have to look at it." He folds it up, puts it in the pocket. So that was the only one that didn't react at first, but it was a great setting because they could leave it in front of him on the table, and he looking down at it. And I think he was trying to be blasé about it, but he couldn't resist asking some questions on it. So it's no one has pushed back. Everyone has had some form of comment. Well, this is really high tech, and my response is, well, it's high tech and low tech, and most everybody is appreciative of being given something like that rather than just a business card.
Yeah, we've looked at maybe trying to get Vistaprint or somebody to print and cut these, but that looks like we're going to have to do something local. The other nice thing on the back is you've got a QR code, and that leads me directly into my next topic. What is a QR code? Why are they important?
I have a question before you go there.
Sure.
Dick, the 3 appointments that you made, were they made at the meeting, or did people look at your CD-ROM and call you back, or how did it work?
These were made at the meeting on the spot.
Okay, so these are people who saw that, so they did not look at the CD-ROM, but they read your flyer or your surfboard, I guess we're calling it, and
Right.
I've seen it. The 3 questions got them saying, "Hey, come on, that's awesome. That is tremendous." Who knows how many people will call you back after they look at the CD-ROM, at a later date,
Absolutely.
which is tremendous.
Yeah, that's the next metric we have to look at. But if if no one called me back out of the 27, 28 that I've given out, I still think it was having 3 people set appointments and express an interest in joining the membership of the Legal Shield and tell me why they need it now is what they one person told me, here's why I need it. So I mean, it's a resounding success. Now hopefully 1 or 2 other ones will call back, but if you get, say if we got 5 hot leads and out of say just around those 25, that's a 20%
That's
hit
phenomenal.
rate, and
That's phenomenal.
in my unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. That is awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, and I'd like to make a comment also on the
Thank you.
subject.
Yep.
I just want to say, and I don't think they don't throw this away.
They don't.
I've never thrown mine away. Eventually, you put it in. So you watch, Dick. I would say you don't know from a month or 2 months or 3 months, but sooner or later they're going to put this in, and then they're going to give you a call. So, like you said, let's see what happens. But you really do not throw this away.
The one thing I'll also remind everybody that the whole concept of a handbill or surfboard with a disc on it, in chapter and verse, what is a business card supposed to do? Okay. And get my thing working right here. What is a business card supposed to do? And basically what a business card is supposed to do is to get people talking about you. And so, this does it in spades, And if it does nothing else, it at least gets you talking to people. Dick, and you saw that, right?
Absolutely, Peter. And let me just add that, we've done the previous podcast about the importance of a 60-second elevator pitch and grabbing the interest. Now, it says to me at these meetings, mixers, so what's your business? I don't give the 60-second elevator pitch. I said, let me show you, and I hand him this, and he starts reading. That's my pitch. So it's even eliminated the need to try to verbally, explain to the guy in 60 seconds what you do. I said, hand it to him, and the questions are, have you ever, blah blah blah, and and it really it's taken away that need for that elevator pitch even.
Yeah, the one thing that's nice about is you do have bullet points, really super easy to read, and so that's a good thing. But remember, a business card is to supposedly be different enough to perk up a conversation about it, and that they will remember you. I don't think anybody's going to forget you, Dick.
Right.
Not when you use the surfboard approach,
No.
Now, let me see if I can share my screen here. I want to get over here. Let me see. I might not be able to do that on this side. All right. Well, give me a second. Frank, talk for a second while I set this up.
Yeah, what I like about the surfboard, Dick, is that you're one of the few who's doing it, and that makes you that much more special And like I say, if there were 10 guys at those meetings that you went to that had surfboards, oh, another one of those. But you being the first, I think that is awesome. It is a
Yeah.
conversation starter, and I think that is tremendous. And
And it won't
I assume I assume you and Peter came up with the verbiage on the two sides, and it's
Yes.
hard hitting. Have you ever?
Yeah.
Right? I think one side says have you ever or something like that,
Yeah.
and the minute you read have you ever, you say, well, have I ever what? And your eyes go down to the next sentence, and then
Yeah.
I think there's 3 or 4 bullet points, and it's a grabber. And
Yeah.
that's tremendous. Congratulations to you and Peter.
Well,
and you don't forget
the
it.
front. Have you ever? It lists 4 or 5 things that, yeah, 5 things you do in everyday life that you may need legal advice, and then you flip the over. It says you need. Okay, what do I need? And it tells you what. So it's I
Yeah.
think it's a great marketing tool.
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right, let me see if I can get this working now. Ta 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 ta
Yeah.
ta. Yes, here we go. That's what I want. Okay, so everybody tell me when you got my screen.
There you go. I have it.
Okay, Dick, you have it?
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Basically, this is a QR code generator, and a QR code
Yes, I
is
do. Yes.
really clever because it's a cross between high tech and low tech. Most of the smartphones now have barcode scanners apps, and so this is a site called the-QR code-generator.com. All you have to do is to put in whatever website you want, and this generates the code right here. And then you can snapshot that, screen capture it, and then put it on your printed materials like Dick has, so that if they want to jump right to the website, all they do is with their smartphone is shoot it, and presto bango takes them right there. So this is a really handy tool that people ought to know about to be able to make QR codes. So in the past, and I think there's still marketing groups that'll charge you $1,500 to make your QR code. Here it is, free, guys. So I'm not opposed to marketing companies like myself making money, but that's obscene.
Yeah.
And but you can put in text, you can put in a URL, contact, phone number, SMS, all kinds of different variables to create these QR codes. And you'll see them now on plumber trucks driving by, stuck in traffic. I've even shot them from my car and went right to their website. So initially, the story that I heard, the reason why QR codes were invented is like if you're at the gym and you're working out and you're talking to somebody that's excited about wanting to see your website or whatever, all they have to do is just shoot a QR code that you have that you carry with you, or put it on your phone, and they're there. And they were using it for sign up, like newsletters, sign up for to create lists. So there's just all kinds of cool stuff you can do with this darn thing. Let me share the next screen that I want to go to, and it's this one here. You know when everybody sees the screen.
I got it.
Okay. So in our adventure here, the style of business card CD-ROM that we're using is called a hockey puck, which is right here. And but I'm now going to go try one of these rectangular versions, and that looks even a bit more like a business card. So I'm going to have 1,000 of those made here shortly. But you can also see you can get them in triangles, and these shapes are again a door opener. As Dick had talked about, people say, well, does it really work? Is that a functional CD-ROM? And it's that's just the jewel of the whole thing is that picks up as a conversation starter. So you can see you could get pretty crazy with these shapes too. And to make them into all kinds of things. Some of the challenges are to get them to balance properly, to spin properly. So this never has an issue, and I can't imagine a rectangular version would either. So, but we're going to give that a try and see how that works. And let me get back over here. I want to get back over to my here and stop sharing. Okay, that was my little bit to go there, I think. And so if anybody's interested in these things, I mean, by the way, of course, these CD-ROMs have clickable sections. I think we did a podcast on one a few weeks back, showing the design environment so you can see the videos and click and move. And I used to charge $10,000 to author one of these things. So, here we're putting out stuff that I don't know that I can make it affordable for everybody to be able to do everything we've got, but that's one of my challenges. But there is absolutely no doubt that these things do, in fact, generate leads to business. And I mean, Dick, I've been with Dick, and we go to these things, and when I start handing out that CD-ROM, everybody stops and starts looking. I mean, hey, Dick, we'll talk about the 111 Business Group. When you got your CD-ROM, wasn't that the talk of the town?
Yeah, when I showed everybody Tuesday, we spent about 15-20 minutes talking about it, and what they do, and a lot of people inquired about the cost, and it really is. But like you say, Peter, we've gone to many of these mixers together, and you helped me design a regular business card that was pretty different and pretty eye-striking, I think. Rather, and I'd stand next to, I'd hand the guy my card, and you'd hand the guy your CD-ROM card, and my card would be like it exists.
Yeah.
They just ignored it. So I stopped hanging around with you when I get a little notice here.
I didn't know that. I didn't
Can
know
I make
that.
a comment on that note, Peter?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
I mean, again, you have to ask yourself, what's it worth to you? What is this worth? And someone inquired the price. The first thing that came out of their mouth was how much, and the first thing I thought to myself, well, how much is it worth to you?
Yeah.
How much is it worth when you just hand somebody something like this, and pretty much you got a 10%, 50% conversion rate on just handing somebody something. And it's like what Frank said, it's something different, it's a grabber, and you remember. And I think it's worth whatever the price it's worth.
Yeah, so Frank and Jane, that's my story. But you know what? And it's also an interesting ploy too, Mark, because I would, when selling websites and stuff like that, people always come down there, what's it going to cost me?
Right.
And I always answer, well, I have a better question for you. What's it going to cost you if you don't do it? That's what I can tell you the answer to, because you're not going to enjoy anything new. Nothing's changing. Your status quo, that's what it's going to cost you. And if you don't do it. And so I really like to turn, that's a good segue, Mark, but I like to turn that around. And I honestly believe in watching Dick's data. If you're selling an item that's $12, you're going to have to sell a lot of $12 items to make up the cost for those CD-ROMs. However, if any one of your clients is $1,000 or more, it's not going to take you long at all to have that ROI, return on your investment, for sure. Okay, and if nothing else, it at least gets you talking and dialogue. And Dick never had 3 accounts. I've been with Dick on and off, but I've never seen 3 people just immediately sign up to talk with them, ever.
And I've been with you too, Dick.
Yeah, have you seen it too? Have you seen it, Mark?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I've seen the difference. I know the difference. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And with you too, Peter.
Yeah,
I've been in functions with you, and I look at the reactions when you hand the card to them, and they kind of freeze, and they really, for a second, they don't know what to do with it, and then they get a grip.
Yeah, and I did it with the mayor.
About it.
I did it with the mayor of Indio a couple of weeks ago, and waited in line, handed him my card, and he, wow, what is this? And I said, it's about podcasting. We got to start podcasting for the city. Give me a call. He goes, you're on it. I got it. But this is great. What is on this thing? I'm not telling you. Go watch it. It's it. Do they do that with a business card? No. It goes
you don't throw this away.
No. And, not to keep harping on it, but any advantage that we can get when we're out meeting potential clients is worth its weight in gold, because that's the start of your sales funnel. That's where you're going to build that relationship. As Frank and Jane would say, tell them your story, get that thing going, and they'll always remember you, and they'll take your call too when you call them. And the regular business card, I haven't seen anything that does what this does, to include USB flash drives. I tried those for a while. Nothing. Nothing works as well as the surfboard and CD-ROM combination. Go figure. But the data is there. Don't trust me. Don't believe anything I say. Listen to what Dick is telling you, what he's getting in the field. Because Dick's used to getting rejected a lot.
That's the story of my life.
I know. You got to...
Not anymore.
Yeah, I think that part's gone. So that's what I wanted to cover. The QR codes, how to get them, guys, get them on your materials, and understand what they're for. And of course, we integrated it right onto the surfboard as well. Or if you have just paper, if you can only afford paper business cards, get it on there so people can use their smartphone and get to your website easily. Okay. All right. Frank, my favorite subject of each podcast is, go ahead, Frank.
Hey, I'm glad you asked. Okay, let me shut this thing off. Okay, Twin, this week in the news, small business lessons. I have two that are somewhat related. Twin number one. Hey, Picasso, thank you for the small business lesson. Picasso, Pablo Picasso, he was born in Spain around... you are one of the greatest and most influential artists of the 20th century. Well, how's it got to do with this week in the news? Well, there was a headline that stated Pablo Picasso helps teach Apple style. Okay. Apple designers strive for simplicity, just as Picasso eliminated details to create a great work of art. Apple is using the same process to eliminate all unnecessary details until they get to the bare essence of the product. Example, the iPhone with only one button. Remember, that was Steve's big thing. Okay. However, today's small business lesson comes from a story about Picasso. Here's a story. Picasso was sitting in a diner one evening, enjoying dinner. The waitress recognized him, and she took some courage. She went over to him and says, Mr. Picasso, would you be so kind as to draw me a quick sketch so that I could have a Picasso of my own? Now that took a lot of nerve. Picasso said, sure. And for the next 5 minutes, he frantically sketched on the back of his paper placemat, drawing his sketch. Okay. Once he finished, he showed it to the waitress and said, that will be $10,000, please. And the waitress was taken back and said, what? You only spent 5 minutes working on that. And Picasso replied, no, it took me 50 years to reach this new skill level. That will be $10,000, please. The small business lesson here is none of us are great artists like Picasso, but each of us has attained a certain level of skills that we have accumulated over the years of working, living, experimenting, succeeding, and failing. So in a sense, each of us is a Picasso in our own area of expertise. The problem is, too many small business owners downplay or do not value the knowledge and expertise they have. For example, how much better would each one of us be today if we knew then what we know now? That's the value of our experience. Each one of us is a Picasso. Place a high value on what you have to offer, because if you don't, no one else will. And that's twin number one. Twin number two. And there's going to be a theme here. Hey, Bethany Moda. Thank you for the small business lesson. Bethany Moda. Bethany Moda was born in Northern California to parents. One was Portuguese and one was Mexican. And she was homeschooled until she went to junior high, and her parents entered her into a public school. Well, that did not work because Bethany suffered a devastating bout of cyberbullying from her supposedly best friend. She was devastated. So the 14-year-old disenrolled, went back to homeschooling, and she was already shy to begin with, and the cyberbullying just made her that much shyer and introverted, and she spent a lot of time in her room, and she was bored. So she started creating videos in her room. She has she had no cameraman, no camera operator, no video editors. She was just a one-girl band shooting, editing, and uploading videos of herself. And she talked about how life is as a 14-year-old girl who was bored, who was shy, and who was suffering from bullying. She says, I saw my YouTube channel as a hobby. It is something I did because I was bored. Now, when she first started, she did what just about every other small business owner does. She found out what everybody else was doing, and she tried to copy them. Okay? She felt pressure to do what was already there, and it didn't work. She didn't feel right, and she feels miserably. So then she says, you know what? I'm going to be my own self. And since she no longer felt the pressure of doing what was already there, she just said, "Hey, I'm a 4-year-old girl who is bored, who's shy, and has been bullied." And she started talking to other 14-year-old girls who were shy, bored, and bullied. And people flocked to her website because people love to see things that have not done before. How was Bethany in the news? Last Sunday, Bethany was voted the top female video star on the Teen Choice Award show. Bethany is now 18 years old, so she's been doing it for 4 years. Again, a one-girl band, and I've watched her videos. She has the iPhone, and she does her own editing. Bethany has more Instagram followers than Vogue, Elle, Claire, Glamour, and Cosmopolitan magazines combined.
Wow.
Bethany has more than 5.5 million subscribers to her YouTube channel. And Bethany is generating, according to Yahoo Finance, about $40,000 per month in income.
Wow.
14-year-old girl. There's a myriad of small business lessons. Matter of fact, I'm going to do we'll talk about my YouTube channel toward the end of the show. Here's the small business lessons I got from Bethany, and I would love to interview her. Number 1, be yourself. Don't try to be like Steve Jobs or whoever else that you think is, and I'm sure they're very, very good. Be yourself, as the VP of Apple said the other day in a video I talked about a couple months ago. Allison, I can't think of her last name. She said how people admire Steve Jobs. She said, yeah, the biggest mistake small tech owners make is they try to be the next Steve Jobs. And her quote was, and I love this quote, don't be the next Steve Jobs. The world already has one of those. Be the next you. And that's what Bethany Motor did. Okay, number 1. Number 2, Bethany, once she realized that she couldn't be like somebody else, she identified her audience as girls who were shy, bored, and bullied. Each of us has an audience. My audience is the small business owner who wants to do prospecting a little different. Dick, you've got a great audience of older businessmen who have been successful in the corporate world that are now starting their small business. You and them have a lot of stories you can share. Mark, you have your experience with the bookstore that you have and the social media, and Peter, you have yours as well. Bethany speaks only to that group, and if anybody else gets value, that is good for them. She does not try to be all things to all people. In her videos, it's like Bethany is speaking to only one girl at a time in the way that most girls talk. She does not try to put on airs or be something she is not. At the end of each video, after a while, Bethany goes back and reviews the comments in each video, and she tries to respond to each comment personally by herself. She makes every viewer feel as if that viewer is the most important person viewing her video. Bethany Motor, thank you for your small business lessons. There's a lot we can learn from this 14-year-old girl. And those are my twins for this week.
Excellent. Excellent. Anybody want to comment?
No, I think it's great stories, that's for sure.
Yeah, the one of the things, the other takeaway, Frank, I'd say is I officially started my social media company this last week. I got paid, got accounts, and got started. And one of the things I've always talked about is, when you do social media, if you have anybody that comes on and is dissatisfied with your client or whatever, that you get right on there and respond to them in a positive way, which is that feedback piece that she's doing. They now feel important, whether they are or they aren't. Well, of course they are, but they get a great feel that somebody actually cared about what they were talking about. So that's another good piece to take away.
Yeah.
And also, I think
Go ahead, Mark, please.
what's important is to know your target audience, what you're saying, Frank. And select a target audience and go from there, from your specialty.
Well, it's from where she was. I mean, again, I admire this girl so much. It's from where she came from, and she did in the beginning, and she admits it now. She tried to be like somebody else who was being successful, and it didn't work. And she was smart enough, and I'm not sure many small business owners are as smart as this young lady. Smart to say, hey, this isn't working. I'm not comfortable. I'm not being me. Can I just be me? And her videos are just her talking, and she's sitting on her bed. And then it shows. Then she did she's getting a little slick right now. It shows her driving a car and so forth. By the way, she drives a '58 Chevy Impala, which I think is so cool.
God.
But anyway, the point is that she did it on her own with no experience and very little money, and each of us on this podcast and listening to this podcast at any time has the same opportunity that Bethany does. Well, I like to close off by saying, and I told these guys before the show, I am putting all of my twins segments now, starting with last week on Walmart, and I'll be doing Bethany and Picasso this week on my YouTube channel, and it'll be a little different than what I do here because it'll include an animated doodle that I include every video, and also an animated cartoon on the subject matter. So if you guys have a chance to go to YouTube, YouTube, and my channel is Frank Syringa, check on the videos. If you like it, subscribe, and I'll be doing at least one a week. Thank you.
I'll have links in the show notes for those too. And I'm proud of you, Frank. I think when I met you, you couldn't spell podcasting or video. Now look at you.
Peter, I remember the first meeting that you came to, and I heard you talking. I said, "Who is this guy from Salton Sea?" Okay, yeah. And I remember saying to you, "Hey, what do you think of podcasting?" And you were polite, but not generous. But you were polite, and fluffed me off because I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. But you were kind, and then the next time you became, you grew on me. I think I grew on you. But I want to thank you, Peter, because you have been a great, and by the way, Mike Taylor last week, two great inspirations to me. And
thank you.
And as I said, as any chance I get, I always feel better at the end of this podcast than I do at the beginning. I learned so much. I think Giardino says this a number of times. I learned so much at every podcast that we do, and these have been invaluable, or as MasterCard would say, priceless. So I think
priceless. Yeah, what's it going to cost you if you don't podcast?
Well, you think about that, and let me go to Nissan has a vehicle called Leaf, which is an electric car to compete with Prius. Now, Prius is the number one. I have a Prius, and Peter, you have a Prius. And I saw a commercial, and there was a CEO of America, I think, for Nissan. And here's how he ended. It was him talking about the Nissan Leaf, and here's his last two lines. He said, "The question is not why electric? The question is, why gas?" And I said, yep. Wow, did that put that in perspective? And it's the same with you. The question is not why this new video card that you have, the surfboard. The question is, why the old card?
Right.
And that just, man, that just hit me. I said, wow, that was strong. That was strong. So that's it.
Yeah, it's always a big thing for us to try to get. These are called door openers, by the way. There was another door opener that I did for a client. He was a fire alarm client, and getting people. He was from Phoenix, and of course, the U.S. has national laws that you have to have. If you're a public building, you have to have a fire alarm system, and it has to be checked once a year. And so Oh, let me see. He calls them trunk slammers. They would come in and they had their license, but they would charge a fraction of what a thorough test would be and sign off on it, hoping that nothing would ever happen to them. And he says, how do I compete with that? And I thought about it. Well, what we did was, of course, I made, and this was very clever, he had 6 different target markets, hotels being one of them, bars, retail, hospitals, nursing homes. So I made 6 different CD-ROMs except for the middle section. The beginning and the end were always the same, and then I shot video to put in the middle section, so it made it unique and a target to itself. Anyway, long story short, we put them in a little coffin. We had little coffins that we purchased, and we burned a little doll partially and stuck it in the coffin and stuck the disc in the coffin, and we delivered that to the gatekeeper of these facilities. And it opens up, and you don't want to be the one that burns a little Betty. You don't want to be that responsibility on your heart and soul that you burned up these people, by going to less than admirable individuals to get your system checked. Oh my God, it was amazing. But they're called door openers. What do you do? You think out of the box.
Yeah.
In your case, a chart box.
Exactly. And
again, it comes back to being different is better than being better, and that was so different. That's awesome.
The other one that I played with was getting milk cartons. And we're old enough to remember when they used to put kids' pictures, lost kids, right, on milk cartons.
Yeah.
And so if you have a target you're going to go to, you get a picture of him or his company and say, lost, non-successful company. Please call 888, whatever. And you deliver the freaking milk carton to them with their picture on it. That was another one that we were playing with at one time. And at Christmas time, he delivered little pine trees with our CD-ROM hanging as an ornament. So they're very different. They're called door openers, and
I love it. I love it.
So one of the things is, and that's, gosh darn it, that's the cross between the digital and the physical world. We still need door openers, I think. If you have any networking going on at all, you still have to be different, and you have to look different. Something has to be there that's uniquely different, and that's the challenge. Right. Whether you're a fire alarm company with a little burned baby in a coffin, shocking, but works great,
Yeah.
Now, one issue I have, Peter, is everything I do is I try to be different.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes people don't understand when you're different. It takes them a while to get the grips of what you do. I mean, for instance, at Palm Springs Sport, I've explained numerous times that it's a concierge directory sport and fitness website. And how many times I hear, what is it? And what is it? So then, my challenge is try to explain that, things that are different to people so they understand. And I think, again, with your card, with the info card, then they have it both ways. They have it verbally, and then they can go back and research it on with themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. But it just to spark a little interest. Excuse me, got to turn myself on here. Just to spark a little interest, if you can think of a deliverable, like a set of dice comes to mind. You give everybody a pair of dice, inexpensive. Don't chance on anything. Go to my website first. Don't roll the dice on anybody else. You can find everything you need right there. Don't roll the dice. It's something as simple as that. A pair of dice and a pitch with that connected to even a regular business card. Dice hanging off of a regular business card. Wow, that's really unique.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Just something to grab them.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, again, what is it? What is a business card for? Is to have you be remembered. And certainly, if somebody handed me a pair of dice on a business card, I think I'd certainly. Why the dice? And that's the perfect thing. There's something called in marketing too, the 3-foot rule. You want to sell everybody within 3 feet of you. That's the goal. So you all have seen when I wear a badge. Well, people will look at that badge, and if you make it so that they can't quite see what the heck it is, what is that? Who do you work for? Bang. Thank you very much. Now I can pitch you. And that's exactly why you wear a badge. And our badge literally is our CD-ROM that I Dremel tooled a slot to hook into, and it's an automatic catcher. Bingo. And for the fire alarm guys, I had flames all over their face, and you could hardly see them. I even experimented with just half a face. I even put them upside down, and people's head would go like that, trying to read that thing, and it was amazing.
Well, even what I'm showing here, sometimes they just look at my shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just kind of, just want to see what my shirt says.
Yep. I had a person say the other day, why do I always wear Hawaiian shirts? Well, first off, I like Hawaiian shirts, but Hawaiian shirts almost instantly, they're fun. I meant, we're talking vacation. Yeah, lighten up. Let's go to Hawaii. Let's tell stories.
Easy going.
And easy going, not out to get anybody. Let's just have a good time with this. And so basically what you wear also tells a story. And if you can pull all those pieces together, that's a really good thing. Sometimes I used to actually go with my camera and my microphone and just interview people. Well, what for? Podcast. Tell me about your business, and I'll put you up online. I'll send you the video. That worked like a champ.
Yeah, we've done that.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it's just crazy to walk in with a video camera and get set up in the corner, and then I'm going to start doing that similar approach for the City of Indio Chamber of Commerce, that I'm going to be videotaping, recording. Just my age there. We don't video. Well, actually, one of my cameras is still tape. But basically, testimonials of how the chamber really helped them, and that's going to be priceless, I think, for a number of reasons. But anything we can do that makes us look a little different, not crazy different. There's this one person that runs around the chamber, the fake hair and craziness and silly clothes, and that's their identity. But that just takes away from the professional side of the business. But yeah.
we've had those kind of people since the beginning of time. They're called clowns.
Yeah, well, this one isn't necessarily a clown. You've seen her, Dick, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was there Tuesday night at the.
Yeah, so they're different, but that person plays a particular role of trying to get people to talk and meet, and so the outfit certainly does work for that, But as a professional, you don't want to necessarily be looking like that if you're trying to sell a service, I think, anyway. What do I know? Unless it's a clown service, obviously. Right. Then you want to dress like that. So, yeah, and so Frank, what kind of door opener might you think? I know your gears are running now. What kind of door opener might you have?
For what? For what I do?
Yeah.
It's like the plumber who has a leaky faucet in his house.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
It's the last house he ever works on because he's busy thinking of other people's homes.
Right.
Yeah, I've been working on that. I'm doing the videos, and I'm doing differently because I'm doing animated doodles and animated cartoons, and I'm going to be. Since you brought that up, I did my first video, and it took me a week to get it done. It should have taken me 2 hours, but I learned. But and no one likes me more than I do, and I can guarantee that because I love me. But as much as I like me, as much as I enjoy my video, and it's 3 minutes and 40 seconds long, it's like an NPR broadcast. Oh, put me to sleep, please. And it hit me this weekend when I was doing the video that because of the way the world is today, in my opinion, and with the internet and Instagram, everything else that we have access to, we are in the entertainment business as long as the information business And if we don't entertain them, now I'm not. Now again, I think it's a lady who said about the Indio chamber. God bless her. I hope she's very successful. I could not do that because I wouldn't. I'd have trouble looking myself in the mirror in the morning. But we've got to entertain them, whoever them is that we're trying to get access to, because they can click us off anytime they want. And NPR and C-SPAN have tons of information. We got, whether it's left or right, I don't care. They have tons of information, but it's boring. It's boring. I don't listen to NPR, and I very seldom watch C-SPAN. But you put the same information on Bloomberg, on Fox Business, or on 60 Minutes about business, I gobble it up. Because they take the same information and make it entertaining as opposed to very cut and dry. So whatever I do, by the way, thank you for that question, Peter. Whatever I do, it's got to be entertaining from the first 2 to 3 seconds, or else I will lose my audience. If I say, hey, I'm going to tell you the 3 things that you really should learn because I got a lot of good stuff, click. We've got to grab them. Dick's surfboard is a grabber. And it grabs them in the first second that he takes he hands it to them. And they can't put it down because they don't know what it is. You've intrigued them, Dick. You've intrigued them. They say, what the hell is this, right? Yeah. And they look at it, and then they look at the page which has the glue, has the three or four questions. You've grabbed them again. And 3 out of 28 people said, Dick, we got to talk about this. Or I'd like to talk to you about this. They never would have said that unless you grabbed them. Correct?
Well, I think so.
Yeah. So
That's
whatever
correct.
we do,
And, you know, one of the purposes of. Go ahead, Frank.
No, I'm sorry. I was done. You go, Dick.
No, I was just going to follow up on what you were talking about, because one of the purpose of a your 60-second elevator pitch, your main purpose is to get them to want to know more about you or your product, your company. And this surfboard instantly gets them to want to know more about it, because the bullet points, everybody in the world has signed contracts or did the things that are on there. And one of the things that I'll give myself a legal shield, a little bit of a plug here, is as I'm talking to people, most people, their initial response is, I don't need a lawyer. Okay, this tells them they do. So it's a grabber, and it hooks them.
Anybody that's in business needs an attorney or counseling at one time or another.
Absolutely.
You're not even supposed to sign a lease or anything, really.
But I'm out about individuals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even individuals.
Yeah, I'm talking individuals. Like a lot of people say, I don't need an attorney because I don't get in trouble. And and this says, have you ever signed a contract? Everybody signed a contract in their lives.
Okay.
Well, you need an attorney. It really takes them through it.
Here, you ever been overcharged or treated unfairly?
Yeah.
Next bullet point: received a traffic ticket. Been in a situation where you thought the advice of a lawyer would be useful. All of those are very powerful bullet points,
Yeah.
And everybody can relate to that, I think.
Yeah.
Getting to the 60-second commercial, I've done a lot of studying on 60-second, 30-second commercials, 60-second commercials, and I've watched a lot of videos and read quite a few books on it. I'll be doing a video for my channel, not on a twin, about 30-second commercials. And the biggest mistake I believe most people make when they introduce themselves, they say, "Oh, hi, I'm an attorney, or I'm a CPA, or I'm a web designer," and the person immediately goes to a state that everybody wants to avoid called FAGOA. FAGOA is an acronym for FIGOA, and that stands for Forget It, I Got One Already, and they shut you off. The minute you label yourself, they either have one, they never want one, or they know someone who is one, and forget about it. So in my opinion, the best 30-second commercial should only have 3 sentences, contain a dollar sign in one of the sentences, preferably the second sentence, and leave them with an unresolved situation. Because people say, well, what do you mean by that? Or and anyway, so but that's I went off on a tangent. But I like Dick. Please don't take this the wrong way. There's nothing more boring than legal services. But you made it interesting. You made it intriguing with your surfboard, and I think that's awesome.
You're right. But it's until you need one, until you need legal service, then all of a sudden it's not a boring subject. But there's nothing more boring to go around a mixer or go to the 111 groups. And I remember the first time I went to the Tuesday morning 111 and gave my elevator pitch. As I think back now, it was a disaster. And so you evolve, you modify, and you grow it. And now, a lot of times, I'll just say, I try to take stress out of people's lives.
Well,
the
other
say, well,
thing,
how do you do that? Well, here's how.
the other thing, Dick, that we probably should put on the surfboard is the identity theft bullet, because identity theft's huge these days. I mean, geez, I talk about ruining your life, and for an extra $9.95 a month. No plug intended here, but where can you get that kind of reassurance that if it does happen, they're gonna rescue you and bring it back to where it was before it got hijacked?
Right.
Why are you laughing, Mark? Mark, why are you laughing? Come on.
We're having fun over here.
Oh, okay,
we're always
good.
having fun.
All right, good. There's an off-camera play there. It was kind of fun. Hey, but Frank, I was the thing that I was driving towards. I know you probably won't network physically with your business, but if you were gonna do anything like that, can you imagine a little doll, right, with a Band-Aid across your mouth? Don't talk to anybody. Have them come to you, right? Think that out. And you could glue that onto a paper card, right? Because you can get those little trinkets from the toy places, by the bags full, right? And you make it so she can't talk. And I mean, what the heck is that, right? And I was even thinking, here's a map, point A to point B. So you have a map, goes point A, right to point B, and the girl is standing at the point B with a little Band-Aid on her mouth. There you go. There's a door opener for you.
There you go. Yeah, again, my mind is racing.
I can see
I want
that.
to say one thing, though, on what Frank was saying, and I think it's important to all of us that, we're trying to entertain our clients, our people, but also we want to engage, and I think that's very important. What we're doing here, we're engaged in conversation. So somehow, what keeps a user on our website? Well, we want to entertain them, but we also want them to engage on what product we bring to them.
Right. That's where social media starts to play, that engagement and that relationship and that conversation, stupid, right? Exactly. How many times we got to say that, Mark, right? Social media, it's a conversation, stupid. Make it that one. Which is engaging.
Let me go back to Dick. Dick, I don't know how many times you've given a presentation to our group, the 111 group. At least 3 times, I would guess, right? 2 or 3 times.
I think 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 times. And I try to pay attention, but I do have ADD, so I don't always. But I remember one thing, and I've told you about it a couple of times already.
Yeah.
The story about your garage door. And if that doesn't hit home about why you need legal or something like it, man, that story. I still know the story, and
Yeah.
But I don't know what else you said because I lost it. I forgot about it.
Well, we got time, Dick. Tell the story.
Again.
All right. I'll do a plug
It's
here.
a classic. It's a classic.
I signed up as a Legal Shield associate member a year ago, January, and right about the same time, I had my garage door opener failed. So I just I called our homeowner and say, "Who do you recommend?" They gave me a name, and the guy came in, put the garage door in, the opener. It failed after about 30 days, so I called him back, and he came and put another one in. And that lasted maybe 25 days, and it failed again. So he came over, he said, "Listen, he said, I'm not replacing your garage door opener." He said, "Your garage door is too heavy for the opener." I said, "Well, I haven't changed the garage door since you installed the first one, so maybe you gave me the wrong opener then. They should have one a little more heavy duty." He said, "That may be, but I'm not replacing it." And I said, "Well, I think you are." And I said, "I'm going to call my lawyers." And he looked at me like, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm attorneys." And I did. And the attorney, my provider attorney, said, "Fax me your bill of sale," which I did. He wrote him a letter. The guy called me back and said, "Okay, we'll replace your garage door opener." And he admitted to me that the problem was a manufacturer's defect. He has found out, and he apologized. And that a year ago, and it's working great since then. But the moral of the story is, if I had not had the membership, I would not have called an attorney for $145, $50 dispute. And that's where having the membership for less than $1 a day, you have that peace of mind that if you do need it, you can access it.
Well,
And
lots
that
of
was
our
the
friends
story.
have used it.
That's
Tell the story
yeah.
of the Balasage restaurant.
Yeah. Well, he signed up as a small business, and he was going to sign some. He was going to do some expansion, and he wanted to do some contracts. And he sent it to the attorney. The attorney called him back and said, "Rip it up. Don't sign it. It's a terrible contract." And he estimated it probably saved him about $1,000. And I've been in there 2 or 3 times, for different mixers, and I just go in and make sure he's still satisfied. And every time I go in, which was Monday night, I was there for a mixer. He gives me a hug, says, "I can't thank you enough." So I just gave, well, tell other people the story.
Hey, and
But
then that's
go ahead.
good stuff. No, that's good stuff. Hey, Frank,
Yeah.
I'm about ready to do my surfboard again, and my lead in off my surfboard was want more clients, and an arrow goes directly down to the disc. That's it. What do you think, Frank? Well, of course you want more clients, right?
Absolutely.
Who doesn't want more clients?
Yeah.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're up on an hour.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff again. We'll try to get. We'll see what next week comes around. So, Dick, you have any final thoughts you want to close on?
Just a quick one. In Frank's Twins report today, he's talking about be yourself, and I think that's an important fact that you should know. We all watch these videos and listen to Steve Jobs and all, and none of us are Steve Jobs because there's only one Steve Jobs, there's only one Bill Gates. But take their advice, but do it to your personality and your style. I've managed salespeople for years and years and years, and I never try to change the sales style because you have to be yourself. You can't go out and pretend to be somebody else. So in your business and in your dealings, take all this good advice you're getting and apply it and use it in your own method, your own style, and your own personality. And with that, I'll say I think it was a good podcast today.
I saw this morning when I was doing some research. Imagine kind of a dark green picture with a thumbprint in it, right?
Yeah.
It says, "Be unique. Everyone else is."
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody
That's
else. So,
right.
Mark, you got any closing thoughts?
Again, I just want to thank everybody for a great podcast, and look forward to the next one. Thank you very much.
Frank,
You're welcome.
closing thoughts?
Thank you, Dick, for what you said. It made me thinking. Everything that we offer, we do, can be duplicated, even if we have a patent. For example, I read this morning where Uber now has a lot of competition from a company called Lyft, and there's a company now in Israel called Get Taxi. Everybody's trying to do that, but there's one thing each one of us has that can never be duplicated, and it's our best asset, and it's us. Us, our personality, our opinions, the way we analyze things, the way we present things. No one can duplicate that, and I don't know why more small business owners are neglecting their best asset, which is yourself.
yourself. Yep.
Everybody is special. That's it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I agree. And by the way, Frank, one of the things we talked earlier in the show, well, before the show anyway, the things that Dick learned yesterday out here, he learned to point shoot, which we'll talk about afterwards, but that's pretty phenomenal stuff. All right, we'll say goodnight, Dick.
Good night, Dick.
All
Good
right,
night, Dick.
guys, hang on. We'll
Good night, everybody.
stop the program here. Hang on.